10. Minato Namikaze. Minato isn't just famous for being insanely fast, he also has a special chakra sensing ability. Even though the series doesn't focus on it much, his sensing skills are built for speed and strategy, not for long-range detection or super detailed analysis like other sensory types. In battle, he can sense how many enemy ninja are nearby just by placing his finger on the ground. It's super subtle, but really sharp. The range is good enough to cover a battlefield, which helps him pull off his teleportation moves perfectly. One of Minato's biggest strengths is how accurate his sensing is. He doesn't just feel how many enemies are around, he can actually recognize specific chakra. For example, when he was brought back with Edo Tensei and Sasuke was talking to the First Hokage, Minato sensed Naruto's chakra from far away and even realized his son had mastered the Nine-Tails power. What really stands out is how fast he can sense things. It feels almost instant, like it's built into him. And you know, when your whole fighting style is based on speed, you gotta know exactly where your marks are and how many enemies are nearby so you can strike or dodge with perfect timing. Minato uses this ability really well in battle. I mean, the guy took down 1,000 enemies and turned the tide of the Third Great Ninja War when he was still just a Junin. That's wild. Also, his sensory skills get even better when he activates Sage Mode. But to be honest, he doesn't use Sage Mode much in battle, because for him, Rasengan and Flying Thunder God are usually more than enough.
Interesting, right? Here, we don't just watch anime. We live every character, every story, every emotion. Don't miss out on exclusive content and fresh takes you won't find anywhere else. Hit that subscribe button now and become part of the most passionate and creative anime community out there. Thanks for the support. This journey wouldn't be the same without you. Next,
9. Madara Uchiha. Madara Uchiha was also a really powerful sensory ninja. Most people focus on his flashy jutsu, so his sensing ability doesn't get much attention. But honestly, it played a big part in why he was so successful in battle. Remember during the Fourth Great Ninja War, when he got revived with Edo Tensei? He instantly sensed Hashirama's chakra the moment Hashirama was brought back to life. And it wasn't like they were standing next to each other either. The distance was huge. Only top-level sensors could pick that up. Then again, they fought so many times before, they probably knew each other's chakra like the back of their hands. Still, it shows how sharp Madara's senses were, even before he powered up with Sage Mode. What's crazy is how detailed his sensing was. He could tell that Tsunade was related to Hashirama. He noticed the Nine-Tails chakra inside Naruto, and he even recognized Sasuke's specific Mangekyo Sharingan pattern. That's not stuff a normal sensor ninja can do. Madara's sensory skills actually evolved in 2 stages. At first, he relied on experience and his familiarity with people's chakra, but after he absorbed Hashirama's Sage Mode, things leveled up big time. He could now sense natural chakra in the environment and react almost instantly. That's how he was able to dodge Naruto and Sasuke's super fast attacks without even looking at them. Yep, he didn't even need to see them to slap them around. Madara was on another level. In the world of top sensor ninja, Madara isn't what you'd call a specialist, but just like Minato, he used his sensing powers in a way that made him even deadlier in combat. It shows how complete and well-rounded Madara was, and how important sensory skills are in high-level ninja battles. 8. Tobarama Senju. He's the guy who created the Flying Thunder God technique, so of course he had some serious sensory skills to go with it. Actually, Tobarama Senju, the second Hokage, was a true legend when it comes to sensory abilities. You know that iconic move where he places 2 fingers on the ground? That's how he activates his insane sensing powers. His range was straight up national level. With just a moment of focus, he was able to sense Madara's chakra from countries away. But it's not just about range. What really made Tobarama stand out was how accurate he was. During the First Great Ninja War, he sensed a group of 20 ninja from the Kinkaku force coming toward him. He didn't just figure out how many were coming, he could even tell which clans they belonged to based on their chakra. That kind of chakra reading made him an incredible strategist. I mean, think about it. Every clan has its own fighting style and special abilities. So if he knows the chakra types coming his way, he basically knows their powers, their tactics, their team comp, and how far away they are. even from miles out. That's crazy. He died from exhaustion after staying behind to hold off those enemies, giving his guards and students a chance to escape during the war. And by the way, he was fighting 20 S-rank level ninjas, plus the infamous Ginkaku and Kinkaku, who basically have the power of 2 Akatsuki squads and some mini Ninetales modes thrown in a ninja world full of deadly threats. Having a censor as powerful as Tobarama was like having a walking radar with a brain made for war. That's why many people still see him as one of the greatest ninja of all time, no matter what generation you're talking about. 7. Mu. When we talk about the top sensory ninjas in the Naruto world, we have to mention Mu, the second Tsuchikage from the Hidden Stone Village. Mu could detect chakra from kilometers away, but also how detailed and sharp his sensing was. Imagine not just knowing where someone is, but also figuring out their bloodline and even their ethnicity just by sensing their chakra. Mu could do exactly that. One clear example was that he instantly sensed the connection between Gaara and his dad Rasa without even seeing them, just by reading their chakra. That level of precision put him right up there with the strongest sensors ever. Now, most sensors stop at detection and analysis, but Mu took things further. He turned that skill into a full-blown combat tool. His reaction time was nuts. He could dodge or block attacks even when they came from blind spots, while other Kage were still trying to figure out where the attacks were coming from. That's why his student, Onoki, always showed deep respect for his legendary teacher. But the wildest part about Mu, his nickname, the non-person. He had a jutsu that let him completely erase his presence, not just visually, but his chakra too. In a world where even thick walls can't block chakra detection, being able to move around without leaving any trace is next level. 6. Eno Yamanaka. When we talk about chakra sensors in Naruto, we cannot skip Eno Yamanaka. She's come a long way, from being part of Team 10 in Naruto to becoming one of the top sensors in Boruto. What makes Eno stand out is her insane chakra sensing range. Back in the day, she could sense chakra in a small area, but in Boruto, Eno can monitor the entire Hidden Leaf village all by herself. Picture that, a single person watching over a whole village for any threats. That's next level power, and even at the end of the Fourth Great Ninja War, her sensory ability was connected to a network of over 80,000 people across all the 5 great nations. Yeah, that's world class. Moreover, Eno can sense chakra with crazy precision. She doesn't just say someone's over there, she can tell whose chakra it is, how strong they are, and even feel changes in their chakra to guess their emotions or intentions. It's kinda like what Naruto does with Sage Mode, but Eno doesn't need any special form. She just feels it naturally. In Boruto, her sensing got even sharper. She can sense chakra without focusing or molding any of her own. It's automatic now, like breathing. On top of that, she can dive into someone's mind, pull out memories, or figure out if they're being controlled. And what really makes Eno shine is how she mixes her sensor skills with the Yamanaka clan's mind jutsu. With her mind-body switch jutsu, she can send her mind into animals like birds to scout from the sky. Her mind transmission jutsu lets her link the thoughts of tons of people at once. Remember when she connected thousands of ninja during the Fourth War? Yeah, that was her. In Boruto, she's the head of Konoha's barrier team, in charge of protecting the entire village. Honestly, calling her one of the pillars of the Hidden Leaf isn't an exaggeration, it's just facts. Sensing chakra is in her blood. She's a true Yamanaka, just like her dad Inoichi and cousin Fu, both amazing sensors in their own right. 5. Nagato. Nagato is definitely one of the most impressive sensory-type ninjas in the whole Naruto universe. What makes him stand out isn't just his raw sensing power, but the clever system he built around it. Let's talk about his famous Tiger Rain at Will technique first. It's honestly one of the smartest uses of sensory abilities we've ever seen in the series. By sending his chakra into the rain that constantly falls over the Hidden Rain village, Nagato turned the weather itself into a giant sensor network. Every single raindrop acted like an extension of his awareness. That means if anyone with unfamiliar chakra entered his territory, he would know right away. No wonder the Hidden Rain was almost impossible to sneak into while he was in charge. The genius of this jutsu is that once it's set up, it works non-stop without Nagato having to actively do anything. It's like having an all-seeing eye that never sleeps. If you didn't know, Kakashi once tried to sneak into the village to investigate it, but he couldn't get past the surveillance. In the end, he had to give up because it was just too risky, and even someone as skilled in intel and stealth as Jiraiya couldn't avoid getting caught in this system. That's how next level it was. But Nagato's talent didn't stop with his rain jutsu. His natural sensory skills were also crazy powerful. He was able to detect Kabuto's location from really far away, even though Kabuto was using jutsu to hide his chakra. It shows that Nagato could break through barriers and tricks that would fool most regular sensor ninjas. 4. Zetsu. When people think about sensor-type ninjas in Naruto, Zetsu probably isn't the first name that comes to mind. But honestly, he might just be the scariest sensor the ninja world has ever seen. Born directly from Kaguya Otsutsuki's will, Zetsu had crazy sensing powers from the very moment he came into existence. Powers that go way beyond what most ninjas could even understand. What really makes Zetsu stand out is the insane range of his sensing. We're talking about someone who was able to watch over the entire ninja world for hundreds of years. Yeah, let that sink in for a second. One of the most mind-blowing examples of this is how he could track the reincarnations of Ashura and Indra over generations. That means he could sense specific chakra signatures across time, not just space. Unlike most sensor ninjas who need to do hand signs or use jutsu to activate their abilities, Zetsu's sensing is always on. It's passive, constant, and super sharp, like having a pair of eyes that never blink, always watching the chakra flow across the world. And here's what makes it even scarier. He could do all of this while completely hiding his own presence. While other ninjas like Mu become invisible by controlling their chakra, Zetsu just straight up erased himself from being noticed and still kept full awareness of everything going on around him. He even managed to spy on powerful shinobi like Hashirama Senju without getting caught, which is nearly impossible for any other sensor in the series. For centuries, this will of Kaguya quietly watched, analyzed, and influenced major events. And no one, not even legendary sensor ninjas like Tobarama, had any clue he was there. The only reason Zetsu's sensing powers don't get more hype is because he didn't really use them for fighting directly. Unlike other sensors who turn their awareness into battle skills, Zetsu used his powers for long-term planning and manipulation. That's why people tend to overlook him. His abilities weren't flashy or aggressive, but they were perfect for playing the long game, and he played it for centuries. 3. Ao. Not many people remember Ao, but he actually played a super important role during the Fourth Great Ninja War. He was the leader of the sensory team, which means he was basically in charge of detecting enemy movements across the entire battlefield. And on top of his own natural sensing skills, he also had a Byakugan, the same powerful eye technique from the Hyuga clan, which he had borrowed from a fallen member. Thanks to that Byakugan and his own abilities, Ao had some of the best chakra detection range out there. During the war, he helped scan huge parts of the battlefield using a giant sensory barrier, and he was able to detect thousands of hidden white Zetsu and even the reanimated shinobi. That's already impressive, but he also picked up on Madara's massive chakra from a long distance, something most sensors couldn't do even if they tried. What made Ao really stand out was how accurate he was. Imagine a battlefield full of thousands of different chakra sources, all mixed up and chaotic. And yet, he could still recognize specific chakra signatures with ease. That kind of precision was a huge help to the allied shinobi forces because it allowed them to spot danger and plan their defenses better. And when he worked together with Eno Yamanaka to set up the sensory barrier, his abilities basically became a strategic superpower for the whole army. One of the craziest things he did was detect Shisui's eye inside Danzo's body. And don't forget his speed. In the middle of all the chaos, Ao could sense and process chakra information from thousands of targets in real time. That kind of quick reaction is super rare, even among high-level sensors. Now, Ao wasn't really a powerhouse when it came to direct fighting, but his support role was absolutely key. His ability to sense and analyze enemies helped his team make better strategies, and his sensory barrier acted like an early warning system, stopping sneak attacks before they happened. Honestly, as the leader of the sensory team, Ao became the eyes and ears of the entire Shinobi Alliance, and without him, things could have gone a lot worse. 2. Karen. Karen's sensory abilities are really impressive. Her power comes from a special ability called the Mind's Eye of the Kagura. Unlike most sensors who need to focus their chakra to detect others, Karen can naturally and instantly sense chakra signatures. This means she can gather important intel without any preparation or effort. Her sensory range is huge. She's shown this many times in the series, being able to track Sasuke over long distances and detect the chakra signatures of Naruto, Kabuto, and other Taka members from far away. This incredible range places her on the level of the top-tier sensors, making her an ideal tracker and scout for any team. But Karen doesn't just detect chakra. She can identify specific signatures, tell the difference between humans and tailed beasts, and even figure out whether someone is alive or dead based on their chakra flow. What's even more impressive is that Karen can sense emotions through chakra. She once described Sasuke's chakra as dark during the 5 Cage summit, and Naruto's chakra as warm, showing a near-empathetic sensitivity. Karen's sensory skills go even further when it comes to detecting deception. She can sense when someone is lying based on chakra fluctuations, and even tell when someone is under genjutsu, including herself. She can also analyze chakra reserves, and once compared the chakra of the 4th Hokage to a tailed beast's. All these abilities make her not just a tracker, but also a complete battlefield analyst, capable of providing vital strategic information. However, there is a major drawback. When Karen uses her chakra concealment technique, which makes her completely invisible to other sensors, like she did to avoid C at the 5 Cage summit. She can't use her mind's eye of the Kagura at the same time. This forces her to choose between staying hidden and being aware of her surroundings, which creates a tactical weakness. In battle, Karen's sensory abilities have proven to be invaluable to Taka. She can track targets, detect approaching threats, and analyze an enemy's chakra reserves to help with battle strategy. In short, she can read her opponents like an open book. 1. Naruto Uzumaki. At first, Naruto had no sign of any sensor abilities, but everything started to change when he learned Sage Mode from Fukasaku. We saw him track Nagato from far away, and even noticed when Kakashi ran out of chakra as soon as he came back to the village. Feats no one expected the impulsive student of Jiraiya to pull off. But it didn't stop there. Once he entered Kurama's chakra mode, Naruto became like a living radar. He could detect Kisame in Samehada, feel the war from hundreds of miles away, and even sense bad intentions. This ability helped him identify white Zetsu disguised among thousands of shinobi. In this mode, his sensory speed grew to the level of natural sensors like Karen. However, the most amazing level of Naruto's sensory abilities came with the 6-Path Sage Mode. In this form, his sensory powers reached unimaginable heights. He could sense things from other dimensions, like Madara's Limbo clones, something no other sensor could do except Sasuke with his Rinnegan. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.